Welcome to another edition of An Apple a Day. I'm Denise O'Malley, founder of You Define Wellness, and these are webinars that we put on where we have a conversation with wellness professionals who are in the You Define Wellness network. It is my pleasure today to be sitting with one of my favorite providers, Sharon Harvey Alexander, who is the owner of Mountain Wisdom Wholistic Health. Sharon, thank you for doing this webinar with me today.
Oh, I am so honored and excited and grateful to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You know, one of the reasons why I was really glad when you said that you would want to do this is because what you talk about is something that every single one of us does every single day. But we don't stop and pay attention to the importance of what it is that we are doing, and that is our breath. So can you talk for a couple minutes about, okay, why do we need to be paying attention to it?
Yes, you are absolutely right, Denise. Breathing is something that we do whether we think about it or not, thank goodness. And so very few of us give much thought to how we breathe, unless our breath is in some way compromised, through exercise or illness or some other kind of situation. If you've ever been scared or scolded or shamed, your breath has been compromised, has changed. And so I think all of us have had some impact to the way we breathe, so that we may not breathe as effectively as we might if we brought our attention to it more regularly.
You know, today's, this is an evergreen video where you guys, who knows, it may be the middle of the summer when you're watching it, but today when we're recording this, it's snowing in Denver, Colorado, and it is cold, and it takes your breath away. So I know I've been focused on it just because when I've had to walk outside, it's like, and I can't breathe anymore. So tell us, what are some of the things that we should be paying attention to, and what can we do immediately to get us back centered?
Wonderful question, Denise. And when I watched you demonstrate how the cold takes your breath away, I noticed the tension, right? The squeezing in, and that's really a reflexive action, comes out of our lower reptilian brain, and it's a way of keeping us safe, right? And so if we notice that, or we know that's the tendency in a cold situation, in a frightful situation, in a stressful situation, the first thing is to be aware, right? And to maintain our awareness even when challenged. And then, of course, the second step, or the second thing to do, would be to try to mitigate that natural tendency to squeeze in, to protect, to tense, to soften our shoulders, to soften our chest and our belly, so that our breath can naturally drop deeper into the body. And I can get into why we want it to drop deeper into the lower lobes of the lungs. And it doesn't often if we spend a lot of time in our heads, because that's very important for boosting immunity, for enhancing digestion, for allowing us to rest and to sleep better, to have great relationships, to keep a focused mind at work. So many benefits, if you will, to breathing well, and to breathing with awareness, to having that awareness as to how we are breathing in any given moment.
So this is something that you coach your clients in?
Absolutely. So I'm a wellness educator, which is a broad term and an umbrella term for a myriad of different hats that I wear. I have been certified as a professional yoga therapist. I am a certified holistic stress management educator. I am a Reiki master. I am a breathing coach and author of the book called Learning to Breathe, Learning to Live, Simple Tools to Alleviate Stress and Invigorate Your Life. And I have written this book because I have found over 25 years of practicing these different modalities that few of us breathe well, and that breathing well is the link to living an inspired life, no pun intended.
So where does one get your book?
That's a great question. So I have books right here. You can order them from my website. I will sign and deliver one to you. You can buy them at local bookstores, the Boulder bookstore, the Tattered Cover bookstore. They are available online at Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. They are also available from the publisher Balboa Press, which is a subsidiary of Hay House.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm impressed at all the different places where you have your book, and that's awesome. And at the end of this, I will share your website with the viewers so that they can go find you online as well. So I know that you have prepared some exercises for us today to show and demonstrate to us how easy it is, but also the benefits of it.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And I would like to introduce them by saying that I am on a mission to engage as many people as I can, whoever's interested, to engage them in effective self-care so that they can transform their relationship to stress. They can improve the quality of their health and their relationships. They can be more focused at work, as I mentioned before, and experience more frequent episodes of increased and unbounded joy. So that's what breathing well can do. It's simple to transform our breath into something that alleviates stress and elevates joy. Let me talk for just a moment and we can come back to the science
Sure.
after these exercises. But there's the autonomic nervous system is where the breath, the respiratory system is housed in our body. And that includes the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is what gives us the ability to fight or flee or freeze when challenged, when stressed, when we need to address a situation. And it releases hormones, including cortisol, adrenaline, those kinds of things that keep us wired and ready to work, really, ready to move and take care of whatever needs to happen. And the trouble is that life now throws challenges at us right and left all the time. The ding on the phone, the deadline at work, our children need us to pick them up or deliver something they forgot to school or whatever it is. We are going. And our body, these systems that were designed for a purpose, designed to keep us safe, allow us to escape and come into a safe place where we can recover, aren't getting the downtime that they need. And when you and I were talking originally, we wanted to address immunity. So breathing well boosts the immune system because it takes offline this stress response, the sympathetic nervous system. So we're boosting parasympathetic, which enhances digestion, allows us to rest, allows us to tap into that kind, sweet spot that is really our essence, and we forget. So let's do a few very simple practices, the first couple of practices from my book. And then I'd love for viewers, I was going to say listeners, viewers, to just notice, sort of compare how you're feeling right now. Let me guide you through just a moment of this practice, and then we'll compare how you feel after that. And we can take it deeper if we want to during our time. To begin, please, whoever is watching, uncross your legs. Set your feet on the floor just outside of the knees. If you were to gaze down, you would see your toes or the tops of your feet. And drop your attention, your awareness out of your head as if the snow that's falling in Colorado today was just cascading down over your shoulders. Like the gentle snowflakes that fall to the ground, allow energy, your body's energy and attention to drop down so that you become aware of and sense into your sit bones on the chair, your seat on the chair, if that's where you are, your feet on the floor, And take a moment to soften your belly and to soften as well your jaw and your tongue and the muscles around your eyes. Now you need not make any change at all to the breath. Simply bring your attention, your awareness to your breath. Become the observer of breath. Notice breath as it flows in and out through your nose. Perhaps notice your body's response to this simple act of bringing your attention to your breath. And we'll do that for just a few more rounds of breath. Observe it flow in and out. Again and again. I call this activity an easy breath. It should be a smooth and effortless action. No need to strive to get this right. It's just bringing our attention to breath and allowing breath to flow with awareness, ideally through the nose, in and out. The mind may continue to be busy and thoughts may pull our attention away. We just acknowledge that and bring attention back to the sensation of breath at the nose. And for now, we will end this by taking a long breath in through the nose and opening the mouth to sigh it out. Beautiful. Stay in this state and we will add to it. So stay here, effortless, comfortable, seated position, feet on the floor, awareness dropping down like the sand in an hourglass, falling to the bottom. Please soften your belly. It might help to rest your hands ever so lightly on the low belly. And imagine your belly like a balloon. When you breathe into the lungs, the belly expands. And when you breathe out from the lungs, the belly contracts, it draws in. And even though I only see Denise from shoulders to neck and head, I can tell that she is moving in the way I have described. Allow belly to expand when you inhale and contract when you exhale. This action invites the diaphragm to drop so that we bring air into the lower lobes of the lungs and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Take one more round of breath this way, inhaling and expanding the belly and the ribs and the chest, yes. And exhale and contract, everything draws in. And then end this part of the practice by taking another big breath in through the nose, sighing it out through the mouth. And just notice your experience in this moment. Any observations or comments or questions, Denise, or anyone else who may have practiced?
Definitely relaxing, and that is good. Although, what I'm going to tell you something that was funny to me that you don't, that you're not aware of, is that my dog, who is never in my office, is in my office and laying in my little meditation chair that I have behind me. And as you were saying, take deep breaths, she was taking deep breaths too.
Snoring.
And she's on the verge of snoring.
Well, that's because the energy around you, right,
Yeah.
within you and around you has shifted, and
Mhm.
she is keen. She has picked that up. So that's awesome.
It was funny to listen to the change in her breathing as you were talking me through it.
Awesome.
And it was a good feeling.
Wonderful. So let me say, you asked me once upon a time how breathing can influence or what relationship it has, if any, to immunity.
Yeah.
And immunity is, or the immune response is the body's way of eliminating invaders, eliminating, foreign invaders, pieces that are not us and that are not beneficial to us. The body has a response that swarms around a bacteria or a virus or an injury in order to gather it up and remove it from the body so that it won't fester and grow and cause problems. And so that leads to inflammation. And inflammation would be swelling, right? Tenderness, pain, heat around an injury. But long term, that inflammation can also come when we eat a food that's not quite right for us. And really, at a subtle level, yogis will tell us inflammation can be stimulated when we think a thought that's not beneficial for us. So my work can go really into the subtle layers of how we interact with life. And again, breathing is a reflection of that. So someone who spends a lot of time in their head breathes in a short, shallow way. Then we are only getting air into maybe the first 2 out of 3 lobes, keeping that sympathetic nervous system stimulated. The body thinks that it needs to go to war, really, and it stimulates inflammation. And another thing that happens is the oxygen levels are reduced, which also compromises immunity and leads to acidosis and a whole host of other situations that set us up to experience subtle changes to our health. I say they begin as dis-ease, and if not caught, noticed, and addressed, they move into dis-ease, and they really can move into some of the chronic diseases we are seeing in today's society as a result of stress, which includes heart disease, diabetes, dementia, and even cancer. So breathing, I have found to be one of the simplest and most effective tools for enhancing our awareness about how we feel moment to moment so that we can make changes, so that the body's response doesn't get elevated and move into this sort of battle with what's happening inside.
I have a quick question for you that just came to my mind. Do you have any breathing exercises recorded someplace where people can access them online for a couple of minutes, as an example, when they're sitting at their desk?
That is on my list of things to make happen this quarter. And so in addition to recording an audio of my book, I would like to break it into the small pieces that people can download. So I will be doing that, and I have not yet.
So for those who are viewing this, take note of where we are on the time stamp right now and go back and figure it out so that when you're sitting at your desk, you can put your earbuds in and you can pull up this video on YouTube and just to access it when you need a couple of minutes to de-stress when you're sitting at your desk, because that's an excellent exercise.
Yes, and so I offer workshops and trainings. I also speak from the book, travel around and teach from the book. So I'm happy to come to the listener's place of work. I am happy to meet with groups of 4 or more in your location. or they can come to my location. And so I am out and about a lot with this kind of work. I also see private clients. I have one of my favorite clients right now is a retired attorney, mid-70s, very driven, very active, diagnosed with ankylosing spondylosis in his teens, which eventually fuses the bones of the spine. So he has limited range of motion in his cervical spine, and he also has dystonia, which I think is moving into Parkinson's. I work with Parkinson's patients, and they often move toward a rigidity, not only in the body, but in the lungs and the tissues within the body as well. So again, breathing in this way, just a few minutes every day, helps to nourish the tissues, helps to strengthen the muscles of respiration, and keep this disintegration, this dis-ease from progressing. So very important. And he is having fantastic results, just freeing up some movement in the rib cage and learning to breathe in a way that allows him to get more oxygen into the body so that he feels more relaxed and also more capable in his day-to-day activities.
That's awesome. And for those viewing this, I just want to point out that at the You Define Wellness website, and I'll share that with you towards the end of this webinar, Sharon has a class that she will bring into the workplace, and you can access it as well as all the other You Define Wellness classes. But she has a great program that she could bring into the workplace, or you can, of course, contact her directly through her website. Okay, what's next on your agenda, my dear?
Okay, let's play now with the pauses between the cycles of breath. Okay. And the pauses, I believe the pauses are where the magic happens. That's been my experience. That's the feedback I get. It can transform things. So to preface this, we all know there are two parts to the breath, right? What are they? The inspiration and the expiration, or the inhale breath and the exhale breath. Well, in this, we will bring our attention to the pauses between those two parts, creating what I call a 4-part breath. Okay. So let's begin in the same way. Uncross those legs, tap your feet for a moment on the floor, sense into your seat on the chair, soften the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the face. Soften the belly. And we begin in the same way. So come into that easy breath. Cultivate a relationship with your breath that is easy and effortless. Smooth. Just allow breath to move all the way in, all the way out. Move your belly as you breathe. So just like we practiced earlier, gently expand belly and ribs. When you inhale, might feel an expansion into the back body. Let everything gently draw in or contract when you exhale. So the inhalation is a gentle expansion from inside out, and the exhalation a release of that. And now, the next time you exhale, follow that breath all the way to the end. And notice a pause at the end. That's where the breath turns around and the inhalation begins again. Let the in-breath travel all the way in. Notice a pause. Breath turns around and moves out. Exhaling all the way to the end and pausing. Turning it around, the breath comes in on its own. We take it all the way in. Notice how it turns around and moves out. Bringing your attention to the pauses now between those two actions of breathing. And I invite you to take 3 more rounds of breath this way if it's comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable or you're struggling or striving, time to let it go and breathe as you are naturally accustomed to breathing. At the end of the 3 rounds, let it go and breathe as you are naturally accustomed to breathing. And then slowly bringing your attention to how you are feeling. And if you are practicing from this previously recorded video, you may continue with this practice as long as you would like to, or you may come back to it at any time. You may reach out to me with any questions you have. And perhaps Denise will have some questions that help to answer the ones that you might have. She looks relaxed.
I don't have any questions, just observations, and that it's just, it does center you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have a twinge going on in my back. I still have the twinge going on in my back, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just more centered right here. It feels good. And my dog did a deep sigh, so.
And about the twinge in the back, Denise, you can imagine breathing into that.
Yeah.
Same way, it's a gentle massage from inside out as you inhale. And then imagine that if it's a tight muscle or a tweak, imagine it softening. Imagine that you're pulling some of that discomfort out and releasing it as you exhale. And that's the way we use the breath therapeutically in situations of pain, muscle tightness or muscle spasm, those kinds of things. So it's a bit of visualization, imagining breath as a very beneficial tool to help relieve some of that discomfort in the body. Great.
They're great techniques, and anybody can do them anywhere.
Yes.
Nobody would even know you're doing it on an airplane.
Yes, I sometimes choose longer lines at the grocery store so that I can do a few rounds of belly breath. My favorite is to remember when I pull up to a red light in traffic and I'm a little stressed, like, why isn't it moving faster? To take a few belly breaths, right? It transforms the whole experience. And usually I arrive wherever I'm going feeling much more centered and grounded and relaxed.
That's a really good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Really good tip. I think more people driving need to do that.
Good. Yes, good. Can we do one more activity, Denise? I just want to introduce this. It's not appropriate for everyone. It is energetic. It does sort of warm you up and get mucus flowing. So it's beneficial during the cold months. It's beneficial if you are noticing some mucus congestion. It's not something that people with cancer, for instance, or even ADHD would want to use without any supervision. But let's just do a few rounds. It's traditionally called Kapalabhati. I call it choo-choo breath or train breath. And we're going to start out slowly, like a train just gearing up to leave the station, maybe picking up speed, but remaining the key, the main point I'd like to emphasize is that you as a practitioner feel relaxed, feel again like this is effortless, no striving needed or desired. And I will demonstrate and then I'll stop and we can do it together.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm sitting as I've previously guided, feet on the floor, awareness of my seat, softening shoulders, ribs, and belly. And this is going to be an aggressive movement or a dynamic, dramatic movement of the belly. On the exhalation, we're going to pump the belly a few times as we exhale, and then we'll pause and take a big breath in. So I'll demonstrate, I'll come back, and I'll guide you. So I'm going to exhale forcefully, and then quick inhales. And so it becomes a puffing, if you will, through the nose. So exhaling force, I'm going to do it again, and I'll come back in a moment to bring you into it. Exhaling, and then, do you hear the sound?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then, so starting slowly, and then maybe picking up the pace, and we'll do no more than 10 rounds. Maybe we just do 3 or 4 to start.
Okay.
So breathing in, exhale forcefully, belly comes in, good, and then pump your breath as you exhale. And then take a big breath in, let it go, sigh it out. Let's try that one more time. Breathe in, begin to pump it now as you exhale. So it's squeezing the belly in, forceful exhale draws the inhale right in after it. And then letting it go. So more challenging.
More challenging.
Takes
It is.
more attention, more thought. Is something that one could practice over time if it seems beneficial. It does sort of clear out the cobwebs of the mind. So it could be used just at 3 or 4 rounds of that quick breathing before a meeting to release anxiety or tension. But it's not for everyone. And as I mentioned, in cases of compromised immunity or compromised mental, emotional function, just stay with easy breath and belly breath.
Right. Well, what I like about it is that it's just another technique for something that we do every single day in the breathing. And it's just another technique that it brings you back to a different center and focus. And I think the exercises where you have to think about what you're doing are good things to do.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to share today. Of course, there are infinite ways of working with the breath. And that's some of the work that I love doing most, is meeting the individual where they are and guiding them to where they want to be in terms of health and wellness on a physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual basis. So thank you for this opportunity.
Well, you're welcome. I want to make sure that we share your website. So zoom in on it if you need to. She is at Mountain Wisdom Wholistic, that's with a W, health.com, and you go to her contact page, and there's a great form there that you can fill out and send to her, and peruse her website and all the wonderful things that she has in it. I also want to take a quick second and show you the You Define Wellness website. We are an employee benefit plan with individual wellness options, of which Sharon is one of the providers in our plan. We have well over 100 different modalities in our plan. So because we believe that you should be the one defining wellness in your life, not someone else. So hop over to our website and check it out. I will tell you that if you are looking at this after February 18th, our website probably looks a little bit different to you, because we have some announcements and some exciting programs that we're launching later this February 2019. So Sharon, any last thoughts that you want to add to this?
I, again, just want to thank you for the opportunity. I want to remind people how important the breath can be, and point out that it doesn't take a huge effort, and actually less is more. So connecting with this easy breath, moving the belly with the breathing action, just a few moments, a couple times a day, will take you far. Your body, your cellular memory will turn on in a way that promotes wellness, that promotes health. And so I suggest to my clients that they bookend their day. If they can, even before they get out of bed, or certainly after they've taken care of the children, the dog, the breakfast, the whatever, if they can take a few moments to sit down or to lie down and breathe, do some belly breathing, that's a great start. Doesn't need to take more than a minute or two. And then again, at the end of the day, maybe once you crawl into bed, just as a way of letting go of the day, as a way of setting an affirmation for the evening, may I sleep well and wake refreshed and ready for the next day, taking a few of these breaths, turns on the relaxation response, allows us to find center so that we can bring more of who we really are into all that we do. So I invite everyone to try this, to just take a few minutes, maybe a couple times a day, no more than that. And if they have any questions, are struggling with anything related to this, or something they would like to talk with me about, please get in touch. And I just thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you are welcome. Again, thank you, Sharon Harvey Alexander, for being with us. And to all of you who are watching this video, thank you very much for tuning in, staying with us. And seriously, folks, go get her book. But welcome back to another You Define Wellness an apple a day webinar. These are obviously live. So take care.
Bye, Denise. Thank you.